Thanks for coming back. Be the CEO podcast. What's up, Tom?
How are you, Adam?
I'm good.
I love it. Be the CEO.
Be the CEO. I got my CEO shirt on today. Be the CEO. Commitment, effort, obsession, right? Look, our whole philosophy is to help people to move from just being a self-employed person to being the CEO both at work and at home. And that's what this podcast is about. What we do is we share some content we found online that are people that agree with our message or disagree with our message. We talk to some of the things that we believe in, or some of the things that we're against, some of the things that are our flaws. We share that in a context that's a little bit longer than social media, and explain it from a perspective of two accidental CEOs who moved from just being self-employed to CEOs, both at work and at home. All right, so let's share. Who wants to go first today, me or you, pal?
You can go first. I'm good.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Pull up my window here. All right, so my post is from the infamous Gary Vaynerchuk. So I always love when Vaynerchuk puts out some simple stuff, and this is pretty simple. It's not about working more hours; it's about being more effective. My gosh, do I believe in this so much? And you've given me a lot of this wisdom, Tom, with the busy badge. So let's read what Vaynerchuk says here. He says, "It's not how many hours you work; it's how productive you are in the hours you work. People are counting the wrong number. The business and life world, for that matter, it's about efficiency, fulfilled happiness, and high impact when you're actually awake versus wasting time on silly things. Period." So this is really what he is talking about here, right? It's like not just efficiency. Even in his message, he says it's the business and the life world, right? It's like if you're just doing more things, then are you doing them well? And I subscribe to a philosophy of do less but better. I've gained this knowledge through a book, Essentialism by Greg McKeown. If you want to look that book up, it's awesome. I read it during my birthday trip last year, and I really adopted it. Do less but better, and which is funny because I used to have a philosophy of and not or. And what I meant by that is, if you're choosing between two things in business or in life, why not do both of them? Why or? Do and, not or. And as I have matured, as I have gotten deeper and deeper into being a coach, as I watched the clients that I gave them the advice, most of the time it was for them to do less things, and the things that they were doing them much, much better. And Tom and I even have been really big benefactors from that philosophy. We used to have so many different programs and different offerings and group coaching and one-on-one and a variety of different things. And when we decided to do less of those, not that they were bad, they were great things that we really helped people and we loved doing them, but we couldn't really do them wonderfully, right? We couldn't put our all into it. And there's another saying that I always say, it's you're either all in or you're in the way. And that's what it means. If you're doing less, you can be all in on that thing. You really truly can. My daughter this year, she fell in love with basketball and she had a great time. But basketball season for the girls is the same time during gymnastics competitive season. And she had to make a choice and she really wanted to do both. And when I sat down with her, I said, listen, you're going to miss some of your practices for gymnastics then. And she has a desire to get back on the podium for states for gymnastics. And she's really busted her ass the whole summer. And she's like, oh, I do like basketball, but I'd rather wait until the summer and play that again. So she had to do less things so she could do her gymnastics much, much better. And the proof is already coming out. Her coaches came to us the other day and said she's really like dialed in and she's looking really good and they're excited for her competitions. So that's the thing. It's like when we're going to have an ultimate focus on something, we have the ability to go deep on it. And that's what's always helped me is when I can go really, really, really deep on something. I don't just want to know a lot of different things or be good at a lot of different things. I want to be excellent at a few. And that it stems these work hours, if we're really trying to dial back what we're working on, it leads to something else, which is this work-life harmony and work-life balance. And everybody hears about work-life balance, and we just believe it's bullshit. Like, you can't really balance these two things. And when you finally get to a point when you're working less hours, you're being more effective, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to give that time back to my life or something else so I can balance the scale. That's not what we're saying here. There's always a harmony between what we're doing. And sometimes you do a lot more of one thing, sometimes you do a lot less of another thing. But just because we've now freed up time doesn't mean we need to fill the other column with something, right? We want you to always have the ability, as we do, to have this harmony between all the things that we're doing, whether it's being a dad or being a business partner or working with clients or doing charity. This is why we run our businesses, to have the ability to do all of it. Okay. And it's not the end, it's do all of the things that make us up, make up who we are as human beings. What are your thoughts on this, Tom? About it's not about working more hours, it's about being more effective.
Yeah, I think I've shared this in the past. I had a CEO once that said, "I don't care if you work 60 hours or you work 30 hours. It's about the impact that you make in the time that you work." And he must have, been reading some of Gary Vaynerchuk stuff, but I don't even know if that existed before, but somebody had said it before, and it's about the impact that you make. It's focusing on being highly, highly effective in the time that you're working. And it brings up for me a lot of the importance of what we talk about when it comes to attention management. Attention management is using your energy to drive your intentions to where you're going to spend your attention and not necessarily the time. And when you focus on giving attention to something, it may not take you a long amount of time, but you still make the impact. And that's really what it means. And a lot of people who are self-employed think that they have to be busy, and they wear the busy badge, and they're doing all these things because they think if they're constantly doing something, it's going to mean something in the long run. And frankly, it could be for nothing. You really need to just focus on making the impact. What is the one thing I can do today that's going to have the biggest impact on getting another step closer to what my vision and my goal is? And that's what it's really all about. And I agree with Gary on this one. It's about not how much time you spend, but it's how you spend that time that really matters. And that's ultimately what a lot of people fall in don't really recognize at the beginning. And they need to recognize that in order to become the CEO of your life and your work and your business, you really have to be more impactful, because there's so many different things that require your attention and that are demanding from you. People are demanding your energy, they're demanding your time, they're demanding all this stuff from you. If you don't learn how to make the impact from the beginning, it's going to be really, really difficult, and you're going to run out of energy. And that's what this is really all about. It's about the energy that you're consuming. So focus on using energy to make an impact, not to just be busy and do a bunch of shit that doesn't really pay off in the long run.
Nice, pal. All right, let's go into what your post. But before we do that, I'm going to interrupt myself. So if you're liking what we're hearing here, go to our website, be the.ceo. Yes, it's be the.ceo. And on the top right-hand corner, you'll see our next free event. So Tom and I, at least once a month, host this 3Q roundtable where we bring about 8 founders in and we have this amazing discussion. So check it out, read a little bit more about it, and hopefully we'll see you there. All right, back to you, Tom.
All right, awesome. I love that commercial break. That was great, brother. All right, so I got this one from Justin Welsh. Let me put it up on the screen here.
If you're watching this or listening to this and you don't know who Justin Welsh is, that probably means you're not using LinkedIn. And I'll just give you, if you're in business, because almost everybody who listens to us is self-employed or some executive level, LinkedIn is no longer just a resume, okay? It used to be used for that. It's your digital resume. It's the ability for you to go out there and job hunt or find high talent that you'd like to acquire. It's not anymore. It's really become a super productive business social media networking platform. So I would definitely recommend you to check out Justin Welsh. He is like the king of how to use it. So obviously, since we use that as our primary channel outside of our podcast, we know a lot about him. So go ahead, yeah, share that back on the screen. But check out Justin Welsh. He's really incredible. And actually, Tom and I took his course a few years ago, and it was very very helpful in copywriting.
100%. So the thing that caught my eye was what he wrote here in the graphic. If you feel stuck in life, build one tiny thing today. A sentence, a plan, a sketch, a habit, a new belief. Momentum loves small beginnings. And then when I was reading the post, the thing that really stuck out for me is right after that in the post, he says, I spent years waiting for the right time to start. Perfect plan, perfect product, perfect moment. You know what finally worked? Writing one LinkedIn post. And he goes on a little bit further and the impact that that made and had on him. But here's the thing that really is the kicker here. There is no perfect time. Adam and I, in our philosophies, one of our enemies is this idea of the perfect time. And that never comes. That perfect time that you're looking for, because a lot of people who are self-employed, they think timing is everything, and timing is not necessarily everything, because there is no perfect time. The time is right now. There are plenty of times that are going to be flawless, and you're not going to find the right time, and it's a really big blanket excuse. It's a way of waiting that really is perfectionism creating procrastination in us. And we are firmly against procrastination, even though it's one of Adam's big flaws, procrastination. We don't want people to procrastinate. We want people to take action. And a lot of people think that if they wait and they think about it, that they're going to get the clarity that they need from it. And clarity does not come from waiting. Clarity comes from the small actions that you take in the beginning of building momentum. That's what brings you clarity, is doing the things, because as you do the things, you recognize what you should do more of or do less of, and that's what breeds the clarity. A lot of people don't attack it right away because they are afraid of failing, right? This is a big thing. You have to shift from this fear and getting into flow. It's from fear to flow. People wait because of a fear of failure or judgment or not being ready. Again, there's that concept of the perfect time. I'm just not ready. Well, what is ready really? Are we ever fully ready? And that's the thing that we have to do is we've got to look at this as, I've got to move away from the fear and start to develop the flow, because what momentum does, it shifts you into flow. It helps you to gain the confidence in doing things. But if you can make intentional decisions and you can have some certainty about what you're doing, you will be able to gain that momentum even faster. We talk all the time with our clients. They're like, we were talking with somebody. I just don't know if this is the right time to do this, to launch this new product, or to do this, to go after these different clients, because I don't have enough resources. And we told this one client who was not taking new work because he didn't have the resources. We were like, go get the work and then get the resources. But don't wait for those things to happen. Don't wait for you to have the right number of people on your staff, or don't wait for the perfect person to be working for you. Just go out there and get the work and build the momentum of the work coming in. Because if you stop and you wait and you procrastinate, and that stickler saboteur, we talk about the saboteurs a lot. The stickler saboteur is the one that breeds this idea of perfectionism, which is just an illusion. But if you go out there and you start to take action, you will get the opportunities. You will see the new opportunities that are in front of you. You'll get the new clients. You'll get the more revenue that you're really looking for. But if you don't take those action steps, if you don't put it out there, you're not going to accomplish anything. Waiting is going to leave you stuck in the weeds. People think they have to do these dramatic things, and this is what I loved about Justin's post. He said, I just wrote one LinkedIn post. And that LinkedIn post for him, which I didn't read in its entirety, led him to creating an $11 million business. $11 million later, it was because of that one post that he wrote. Don't recognize that a small action, a small thing is going to breed all of the success that we are looking for. So don't wait. Just do the thing now. And that's one of our big philosophies. Do the thing. We want you to do the thing because we don't want you to get stuck in the waiting, because there is no perfect time for anything and you need to just go and do it. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, everything you said hits home with that. With what Justin Walsh said, you know, I'll read it again real quick. So if you feel stuck in life, build one tiny thing today. Momentum loves small beginnings. And this is what so many of the people we've been lucky enough to work with that have had great success. That's what they did. But the reason they were stuck is usually they're looking at this giant plan, and we all do this. We set these giant plans, and we have these aspirations of what we're going to do for the entire year. And we start to figure out all the ways that we're going to achieve this, whether we're going to spend marketing dollars, we're going to hire new employees, we're going to have a very specific new target market that we're going to go after. And we're like, okay, this is how we're going to increase our business and do better. And that is great. But then people get stuck because they want the whole thing. They don't realize that momentum loves small beginnings. And what we have helped so many people to do is realize, like, hey, you have the plan and you can see it all the way down the road there, but look down. Look down right in front of you. There's the next step. And that's what he's saying here is like, take that one next step, because it does. It compounds. Every step you take will get you to the end of the journey. And it's hard for self-employed people to do that because they're wearing every single hat. So they have to figure out, like, okay, how do I do all the things very, very well to execute on this plan? And they constantly just dwell on all the things they have to do instead of doing one of the things. And this is what's helped us so much is really saying, okay, what's the task at hand today that will get us to tomorrow? Not get us to the end of the year and the huge profit margin and the awards and the write-ups and all that stuff. It's no, what will get me to tomorrow? So that's what I really love about what Justin's saying here is one tiny thing today. Momentum loves small beginnings. So what's the one tiny thing that you can do in your business today? Not tomorrow, today. Like, what is that? Because you have something, and you most likely, if you're listening to this, you probably have a big, long to-do list. You're probably very disciplined. You sit down, you write out what you got to do, and then you're going to go work and achieve it. And you get to the end of the day, and you run out of day, and you didn't get all the things done. And you're like, I'll put it on tomorrow's to-do list. Where is that really important? Was it really important, all those things on there? I know you thought you should do them. And if you did achieve all of them, things would be great. But was the one important thing accomplished today? And that's what we see most of the time is people overwhelm themselves with busy work. And it's like, if you just put the thing that is super important today to achieve, and you do that every single day, at the end of the year, you'll achieve 365 incredibly important things. And if we look at it now the other way around, if you could say, I achieved 365 incredible things, like how much better would your life and your business be versus, hey, I had 15 things on my to-do list every single day and I think I got something done? Like, that's what this is about. It's starting small and then compounding that effect.
Yeah, that's a really great point. The to-do list becomes the enemy because it's not real. It's not real, and that's kinda why I stopped making a to-do list. That's why we put our to-do list, quote, unquote, "our to-do list" on our calendar, because there are certain priorities that we need to accomplish every single day, and that's how we attention manage our time and energy, and we put the to-do on the calendar so it gets done, and that's what it's about, and that's the thing that really takes us to the next level. I mean, we literally revamped an entire program, an entire way of doing our business in 1 week because we were laser focused and we did the things that were important to do at that time. We didn't wait. We didn't say, "Oh no, we'll get to that next week." We literally changed the idea of the accidental CEO, workshop to the 3Q roundtable in 1 day. We made that decision. We updated the landing pages. We did everything that we needed to do. We did not wait. We seized the moment, right? Seize the opportunity. Seize the day, and you will accomplish so much more. And it doesn't have to be, like you said, it's small things. It's the small things that make the biggest difference. So I would encourage you to think about that. And if you're struggling, maybe you should stop by our website. Go to be the CEO and come to our 3Q roundtable. It's a great opportunity to network with other people. It's an opportunity to get a little bit of help in the process of networking, and we would love to see you there. So sign up at be the CEO, and hopefully we'll see you there soon.